Breakfast time.
Hey, I
Hi, this
think,
is Anita, Stephanie. I did find my shirt. I had said I didn't think I got it, but I got it. I found it, so
Oh,
I,
good.
I
what?
couldn't I couldn't email you to let you know it. I just said I'll tell you today. This is Anita.
Sometimes clothes hide from us. I don't know
Yes, they do.
why, but they do.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, I hadn't worn such and such in a long time. I go to look for it, and it's like I can't find it.
Yeah, well,
Tear
I
up the
found it. I had
house,
to search.
and then when you least suspect it, it just
Yes.
pops up out the blue on another day.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you found it.
Yes, I am too, because I don't like to say I don't have it and then I do find it. I said, no, I know I should have that shirt. I found
Oh,
it.
well, see, that means you just have a sweet heart and you just have one of those hearts, it bugs you when you can't make it right. Do you understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yes, I
You just
do.
got to make it, you got to make it right. Even though you couldn't email me, you said, well, you know what, when I get on here, I'm going to say it because I don't want to misspeak and
That's right.
them thinking the wrong thing. You like me, I don't feel right till I make it right.
That's right. And
I'm
I
gonna
don't
clear it
want
up.
double if I don't want double because that'll take away from someone else. So that's why I was really adamant about looking for.
Yeah. Well, I sure appreciate you sharing that you found your shirt, and I'm glad you
Thank you.
did. So, no big deal. It's no problem. But if anybody's ever wanting or needing something and you don't have it, or you haven't received something, just let me know, and I'll do my best to get it to you. Same way about um, your coffees or your snacks. You're not married to those snacks. If you, for some reason, do not want Folgers coffee anymore and you want to try tea or cappuccino or hot chocolate, just let me know and I'll switch it out. No big deal
Okay.
here. We're kind of easy over here. And if you say, I don't want the Biscoff cookies anymore, I want to try the Goody Girl gluten free, just let me know. So I try to, I want to try to accommodate everybody and just make things, a little bit easier because I appreciate you guys for coming to Coffee Club. You don't have to. So whatever I can do to, accommodate you, I'm going to
I
try to do.
have
Thank
a
you.
question.
Okay.
Is the mug microwavable?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. I throw mine in the microwave all the time.
Oh,
So it's microwavable. You can also put it in your dishwasher. So it
okay.
is safe. I was thinking about getting a different brand. Gotta look at the budget, but so yeah, you all let me know. Are you guys still filling those mugs or you know?
Mine seems like it leaked, but I think it might be because sometimes I don't push that top down hard enough. I'm not quite sure, but uh, it just seems to always have a ring under it at the bottom. And I'm saying, what is this? But
Mm.
I just put
Well, if
some
I need to
under it.
send you another one, I can. That's no big deal.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah,
You can
just
do
let
you
me
can
know
do
because
that.
I'll forget stuff. Just email me
Yes,
or
you can do
call
that
me.
for me. Want me to put it in the chat?
Um, you can put it in the chat. Sometimes I don't go back. Just email me. But
Okay, I
hold
gotta
on.
remember your
Let me try to
email
write
because
a
that's
little
what
note down.
I keep forgetting how to
Put it in the
email
chat. Okay.
you.
I got it. Well, guys, 9:35. We got about 63 people on,
Oh,
and we're gonna go ahead and get started. And I just want to welcome everybody into the NCHPAD Coffee Club. I'm Stephanie Ward, program coordinator for the NCHPAD Coffee Club. And if this is your first time here, please um, come off of mute, or you can also put it in the chat. Please tell me who you are. How did you hear about the NCHPAD Coffee Club? And where are you from? Also, can everybody mute for me, please? I'm hearing some background noise. Okay.
I'm
Okay.
new
Do we have
to it.
anybody new? I heard something.
Okay,
New
you can hear me
friends?
now.
Morning, Daryl.
I'm Da- I'm Daryl Walker. This is my first time, and I heard about it through my boss, Miss Joan Watkins,
Okay.
and I work at UAB. I'm the peer navigator.
Real
Okay.
okay.
Good
Well,
to meet you.
wonderful. Well, thank
Welcome,
you for
Daryl. How you
being
doing,
here.
Daryl?
What's up, Larry? Nice to meet everyone.
Hey there.
So you're at Spain Rehab also?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, welcome. I hope you enjoyed the session today, and I hope you enjoy it well enough to come back and hang out with us again. So welcome.
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
Anybody else?
This is Angela. I'm also here for the first time. I've been meaning to come forever. I was
Yes.
on the in the NCHPAD mentor program last year. That's how I heard about
NCHPAD. Oh, the mentor program. We love the mentor program. Everybody loves the
it.
mentor program. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I'm glad you decided to come on over and join us in Coffee Club. I hope you enjoyed the session today. And I hope you come back, Angela. And welcome. Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Desi Weber. I
Okay.
came on once before, but I wasn't getting the emails. So I am receiving the emails, so I'm back now.
Okay, I think I emailed you. So,
Yes.
yes. Okay, well, I'm glad that you did. I'm glad you got us. And welcome. I know you said you came on once before. So, welcome. And I'm glad you came back. And I hope you enjoyed the session. And you heard about the
Through
coffee club through
the mentor program.
another mentor inductee. Okay. Well, another mentor graduate. Okay, I'll say that. Okay, well, good to have you. Is that everybody?
You.
Because I don't want to miss anybody. Okay, well, if nobody else, and I'm glad to see all of my return friends. Always good to have you guys. Love to see your smiling faces because we only get together twice a month. So when I do see you, I'm so happy to see your smiling face. And I always like to just welcome everyone in. Maybe this little song may make you smile. Maybe if you make you chuckle if you're not having a great day. But I always like to sing Coffee Club, oh Coffee Club. Get ready for the coffee club. It's time to have a coffee and convo. Coffee Club, oh Coffee Club. Welcome to Nick Pat's Coffee Club. It is time to have coffee and convo with you. Welcome, my friends, and happy St. Patrick's Day as well. Guys, we have an awesome topic today. And an awesome guest presenter. Today, my special guest is Karen Hislop. She is founder and director of Therapy Achievements. And let me tell you a little bit about Karen. She is an occupational therapist who specializes in the treatment of individuals with stroke, brain, and spinal cord injury, Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, and lymphatic disorders. She brings more than 20 years of experience and holds advanced certificates in lymphedema treatment, neurodevelopment techniques, um, Saboflex technology, driving rehabilitation, and wheelchair fitting and seating. She is the founder of Therapy Achievements, which is a multidisciplinary outpatient therapy practice providing comprehensive services in neuro rehab, which is brain and spine, ortho rehab, muscles and joint, lymphedema, which is the skin and tissues, functional life skills like driving, rehab, low vision, and wheelchair mobility. And today, she will be sharing valuable insights on therapy approaches that support cognitive skills and help managing swelling following a brain injury. Please, my friends, let's give Karen a warm welcome. Some hearts.
Thank you, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. I've got a little PowerPoint. Here it is. And let me get my slideshow from the beginning. Okay. Well, thank you so much for inviting me to talk today. March is Awareness Day for quite a few things. It is Brain Injury Awareness Month, it is MS Awareness Month, and it is Lymphedema Awareness Month. And so in celebration of awareness of these disorders, I have put together a little talk that pulls it all together. On the surface, these disorders might not seem to be related. But did you know that people with brain injury and MS can have swelling as well? So let's do a deeper dive into how all of these things relate and what kinds of things we can do in therapy to help you have the best life possible. Before I jump into that, let me just say I appreciate the introduction. Their multidisciplinary team approach to treatment is a passion of mine. I worked at HealthSouth for many years until I say Richard Scrushy decided to blow up his company, and out of the ashes came therapy achievements. We did really good rehab back then, and I thought it was because we had all three, OT, PT, and speech. And so that's kind of where my passion is. That's what inspired me to start my company, so that we can provide the very best therapy to people with these disorders, so that they can gain as much function as possible to be able to engage in life and really participate and have fun. So, quick background, I'm not going to spend tons of time on neuroanatomy, but neurological damage happens to your brain or your spinal cord, and it can happen in a number of ways. With a stroke, you can have brain damage if your vessels are blocked or if they burst, creating a bleed in your brain. A traumatic brain injury happens when you have a blow to your brain and it causes some brain damage. Or you can get damage from MS lesions. So MS is an autoimmune disorder that creates, attacks your myelin sheath, and it makes little holes in your myelin sheath. Your myelin sheath is like the insulation on an electrical wire. And so when that insulation on the electrical wire gets eaten away, your body then creates scar tissue to to cover up that open area. And those are called plaques. And those little areas of scar tissue interfere with your neurons' ability to send messages through that area. And so because your brain, your messages are not getting through the wire, it results in problems with moving, with sensation, and all kinds of things. Brain injury is really a prevalent thing. Every year, about 1.5 million Americans get a brain injury, and about 2% of those folks actually don't survive their brain injury. A huge number end up with long-term disability. Brain injury can come in different levels. It can come in mild, or a common word for that is concussion. And concussion can have brief or no loss of consciousness. Your symptoms can include vomiting, lethargy, dizziness, vertigo. Symptoms are usually temporary, but it is a brain injury. A concussion is a brain injury. Moderate levels of brain injury, you lose consciousness for about 30 to 24 hours, 30 minutes to 24 hours. You can have more serious symptoms that last several months or longer. Many people with a moderate brain injury make a full recovery, but some have lasting changes. And then there's a severe brain injury that's where you're unconscious for more than 24 hours or longer. Sometimes on the severe end, it can be you're in a vegetative state, in a coma. And symptoms can be epilepsy, high level confusion, memory loss, hemiparesis, half of your body's not working anymore, numbness. And oftentimes, if you have a severe injury, you have long lasting effects from that. MS happens to nearly 1 million Americans. It's more prevalent recently. They revised their criteria and found out there's a lot more people out there with MS than they originally thought. Women get it more often than men. It can occur at any age, but typically it hits people when they're young, when they're in their 30s, 20s, and 30s. And while there's no current cure, treatment options for MS have improved dramatically in the last decade. And the pharmacological treatment options can help reduce your symptoms and can help prevent getting new plaques or progression of your disease. How do we detect the location and the extent of damage, whether it's on your brain or on your spinal cord? So CAT scans, MRIs, and functional MRIs are used to try to figure out where in your nervous system is your damage. CAT scans usually used if there's a hemorrhage, a blood clot, or a foreign object. If you have a blow to your head and something gets stuck in your brain, CAT scans are typically used for that. They're quick and they can generate an image in minutes. It's the first line of defense. MRIs happen when the CAT scan doesn't find the problem. If you've had a CAT scan and it's not really giving your providers the information they need, they'll have you do an MRI, which gives a little bit more information about the soft tissues. And then there's functional MRI. That would include your SPECT or PET scans, and they create images of your brain while it's working. So in the image on the screen, it shows in red. Those are the areas of your brain that are working. And so they can see if parts of your brain that should be working aren't working, and that can help them identify where your issues are. So by tracking these changes in your brain and quantifying what the activity is, it can improve our understanding about what's happened to you and how we can go about helping you to regain function. So once we know where the damage is, then we can kind of associate that with what problems you're having. So in the diagram, it's a cutout of your brain, and overlaid on top of that are the areas of your body that that part of your brain controls. So there's motor control and there's sensory control. So if you have, for example, a lesion in one part of your brain that affects speech, then you're going to have problems with speech. If you have a lesion in your brain that is the area that controls moving your arm, then you're going to have trouble moving your arm. So that's how the images kind of overlay with what we know about the brain and what areas of the brain control what functions, so that we can have a clearer idea of what needs to happen for helping you to regain function. Swelling happens with brain injury and paralysis, with weakness and paralysis, because your muscles play a big role in pumping the fluid out of your tissues. And so when you have a brain injury or a spinal cord injury that results in weakness or paralysis, that muscle pumping component of handling your fluids is neutralized, and you can end up with swelling. You can have swelling in your legs, you can have swelling in your arms. And so by restoring movement, a lot of times we can help restore that fluid control function and reduce the amount of swelling that you have. So not only do these problems create immediate issues, but they can have long-term effects too. And so brain injuries create future problems in that it increases your risk for Alzheimer's disease, it increases your risk for seizures, it increases your risk for sleep disorders, for sexual function, psychiatric disorders like obsessive compulsive disorder or anxiety or depression. And it also can affect your neuroendocrine functions such as your pituitary gland, your GI function, and your thyroid function. So MS too can accelerate or create higher risk for long-term disorders. Depression is a big one for people with MS. Nearly 24% of people with MS experience depression. MS can disrupt your blood pressure. It can set you up for lung disease. It can set you up for osteoporosis. You can have visual problems from MS, like optic neuritis. And it also puts you at higher risk of developing other autoimmune disorders. So now that we got all the bad news out of the way, there is hope. So amid these significant challenges that come along with neurological problems, there's also reason for hope. Our understanding of how the brain heals and adapts, which is termed neuroplasticity, has grown tremendously. And along with this improved knowledge, we know now how to better support and promote recovery from damage. So what is neuroplasticity? Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to adapt, to learn, and to change based on your experience and events. So we've known for a really long time that kids need stimulation to learn and grow. And we've known for a very long time that if you take a baby and isolate that baby and deprive that baby of physical contact and social interaction, that's going to create damage to their brain. They need that in order for their brain to grow and thrive. But prior to the 1980s, we didn't realize how important that was to adult brains. We used to think that adult brains were pretty stable. And once you hit, a certain age, like 25 or so, your brain didn't change very much after that. That's just who you were. And if you had injured your brain, you had about a 6 to 12-month window of opportunity to recover. And then after that period of time, things were pretty static and you didn't really have much of a chance to recover function after that. But thanks in large part to improvements we've had in imaging and to the research that scientists like Dr. Michael Mergenitz have done, that's dramatically changed our understanding. And now we know that the brain is dynamic and capable of reorganizing itself at any period of time. If we give it the right stimulation, we have the opportunity to rewire our brain, no matter how old we are or no matter how long it's been since we were injured. So knowing that our brain can change despite age or injury, how do we go about developing a plan to improve it? So what do we need to have the brain form new connections, to strengthen existing pathways, and adapt to changes over time? So each person's recipe will be different, but they will all include 10 key ingredients. So the first ingredient is use it or lose it. So if you don't use your pathways, they tend to get weaker. And if you use your pathways, these are the paths that message gets from your brain to your body, it will grow stronger. So for example, in college, Robin was able to converse in Spanish. She took, Spanish in college and she got really pretty good at speaking Spanish. But after college, she didn't really use her Spanish that much. And by the time she was, in her 30s, she could understand what people were saying when they spoke in Spanish, but she really had a hard time adding to the conversation and speaking in Spanish herself. Fast forward to the age of 50, she really can't understand or speak it at all now because she really hasn't used Spanish since college. On a physical example, Ken broke his right hand and he wore a cast for a number of weeks. During that time, he had to use his left hand. So he got pretty good at writing with his left hand. After his cast came off, he stopped writing with his left hand. And now, time goes by and now he can't write with his left hand. He really writes with his right hand. So use it or lose it. Another principle is use it and improve it. So that's kind of the flip side of use it or lose it. The more you use it, the more that path strengthens and the better that path becomes over time. So for example, when Juliet learned the Pledge of Allegiance at age 5, it took her a lot of effort to remember it and say it correctly. So fast forward to now she's an adult. She said it so many times, she can say it without even thinking about it. So that's a cognitive example. A motor example, when John was first learning to dance, he had to really concentrate on the steps that he was taking, and he had to really think about what he was doing to be able to dance. Now that he's been dancing for 3 years, he can do all of the steps without even thinking about it, and he can do even more complex dances. Okay, another principle is salience matters. Salience is what's important to you. In order to change your brain, what you do has to be important to you. It has to be meaningful. And so we know that what's meaningful to me is not necessarily meaningful to you. It's got to be relevant to what you're trying to accomplish. So for example, Bob is highly motivated to improve his hand coordination to play his guitar again. And so he sees a direct correlation between strumming his guitar and when in therapy, he works on playing paper foosball more than he sees a correlation to putting pegs in a pegboard. So for him, the foosball game is going to make a stronger, more efficient connection than doing a pegboard game. Emotions also strengthen that neural connection. Not only does it have to be meaningful, make sense to you, relevant to what you accomplish, but if you have an emotional charge to it, that will help strengthen that pathway as well. And many of you, I'm sure, can relate to this. If you had an event that happened that was highly emotional, I'll give a personal example. I worked in a nursing home when I was in high school, and years later, I was shopping in a store, at a drugstore, and I smelled some perfume, and instantly, it was really amazing how instantly the picture of one of my patients who wore that perfume came back so strongly and so fast. It was really amazing what a connection that made. And it was emotionally charged because I had worked very hard to help her recover. And so I was emotionally connected to her. And all of those emotions came flooding back in like a microsecond. So emotions make a strong connection. Repetition matters. In order to build a strong connection, you have to repeat it a lot. So Malcolm Gladwell's book Outliers popularized the idea that it takes 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert at anything. And research backs up that you need to complete at least 300 to 400 repetitions per session to begin rewiring your brain. That is a lot of activity. And yet the average number of repetitions in therapy is very not close to that. So the take home point of that is rehab is very important, but it's not enough. Frequency and consistency is the key. And so you've got to not only work in therapy, but you've also got to do it at home, or you're not going to get the same results. Another principle is that intensity matters. So it has to be challenging. So it's not something, if you do something that's so easy you don't have to think about it, it is not going to lay down the same changes in your brain as something that you have to really think about and concentrate on. So high dosage and high intensity. So how can you make something that turns into, this is getting pretty easy. It's not much of a challenge for me anymore. Then let's look at making that task more complex. Can you add more resistance? Can you add more cognitive demands? So for example, if you're working on an activity, can you count out your reps in a foreign language? Can you do the steps to counting backward? So the key is to find ways to make that task challenging, so that you can get a better laydown of connection in your brain. Next, specificity matters. So you need to do the type of training that is the desired outcome that you have. So for example, if you want to improve your handwriting, doing a pegboard activity is not going to help you do handwriting very well. But if you use a pencil, and let's say that your coordination is not good enough to actually form letters yet, start with doing a dot to dot. Hold your pencil and try to do a dot to dot puzzle, because that is more closely related to the writing activity that you want to do than other activities can be. All right, next, transference matters. So practicing one task can transfer to similar tasks. Again, in our last example, practicing the dot to dot mazes with a pencil is similar to handwriting. And so that is a good transition to get to the task that you want to be able to do of handwriting. Another example is if you're wanting to play ball games, practicing with one ball game that requires a similar activity like tennis, hitting a ball with a racket, hitting a ball with a golf club, hitting a ball with a baseball bat. All of those activities are similar, so practicing one of those sports will help you become better at a similar sport. Next, interference matters. So practicing the wrong movements can reinforce bad habits that can be really hard to break. So probably the one that I see quite often is people have a stroke or a brain injury, and they have their right side doesn't work anymore. And so they're trying to get their hand up onto the table, and they don't have the strength to be able to do that. But then they discover there's this little trick. If I kind of shrug my shoulder and flip my hand, I can get my hand up on the table. So that works, right? I need to get my hand on the table. That works. But what is that doing? That's laying down a path of different motor pattern than what you want. So if you practice that too much, then by the time you do get the strength to be able to smoothly lift your hand up to the table, that other pattern has been laid down, and it's going to be a hard pattern to break. So that's a challenge in therapy, right? Because we're always trying to help people be functional. And sometimes being functional means you don't do things perfectly or do things, the ideal way. But balancing that, being able to function with not practicing something that's going to lay down a wrong pathway can be a challenge. Another principle is that time matters. So after an injury, there are times when you will see a faster rate of improvement. The first 6 to 12 months is your time of fastest improvement. The good news is that it doesn't stop after that. We used to think, okay, that's it, we won't get any more. But now we know you can still make improvements, but we also know your improvement isn't going to be at the same rate after that period of time as it is right up front. So that's why getting therapy right away is so important. That's your best window of time to make improvements. So that's when you want to make sure you're working with people who can help you know exactly what to do to make the most of that best period of recovery time. Age matters. Young brains change faster than old brains. So I used to work on the brain injury unit when I lived in Vermont, and we saw primarily adults, but every once in a blue moon we'd get a kiddo in there, and it was amazing how much faster those kids recovered than our adults did. At any age, we have the potential to learn new skills. We have the potential to rewire our brain, but the younger you are, the better your advantage for doing that. Okay, so those are the ingredients to neuroplasticity. how do we put them all together so we can achieve our recovery goal? So neuro rehab, physical, occupational, and speech therapy are a really important piece of that rehab journey. Your therapists have training and expertise, and they've got equipment that you don't have at home. Most people haven't even ever thought about brain injury or stroke before it happens to them or someone that they love. And they have no idea, what do I do now? But your rehab team has a lot of experience and training and the equipment that will help you to make the most of your recovery. But as we talked about before, rehabilitation therapy is not enough. You've got to get those repetitions in to make the best changes in your brain. You've got to work outside of therapy, both in structured programs and in everyday tasks. And so that's for all of us, right? That's where the challenge comes in. I can't really use my arm. How am I going to practice using it at home? I have to get through my day. I have to get up, get dressed, get the kids to school. I don't have time to do all of this stuff. That's really hard. So what are some solutions to those real challenges? Technology. So the really exciting thing to me is all of the really wildly exciting pieces of equipment that are coming out to help people with neuro rehab. With that comes evidence of their efficacy. As these pieces of equipment come out, studies are completed to show that they're actually doing what they say they're going to do. And as more and more equipment comes out, the cost of these pieces of equipment are coming down and becoming more affordable. So it's just really exciting to see all of the things that are available now that people can team with doing at home and team that with their therapy in rehab. Of the different types of technology, there's wearable technology. And it is focused on prevention. This is the stuff like your step trackers, your blood sugar monitors. They analyze and transmit data so that you can better monitor your health and prevent problems from happening. There's assistive technology, and the focus of assistive technology is really more on compensation. I have these deficits, and now how can I do a workaround to function with these problems? And that would include things like the talk to speech apps, text to talk, the augmentative communication devices, list devices. I can't remember anything now. There's a bazillion list and memory apps out there to help you organize your thoughts and remember things. But that's not really focusing on improving your brain function. That's really focusing on compensating for those problems that you have. So those are really good technologies, and those are things you need to add to your toolbox as you're dealing with neuro issues. Rehab technology's focus is on recovery. These are pieces of technology that can actually help to stimulate those brain pathways and improve your recovery and your function after neurological injuries. And so some of them include the exoskeletons and myoelectric prosthesis. And these are wearable motorized devices. It's kind of like a brace that you put on your arm, but they're cool. They're really cool because they have EMG and EEG technology in there that detects any muscle contraction that you have and enhances that through eSTEM and motor units. And the focus of that is to improve your function. So the picture in this slide shows a myoelectric prosthetic. And so this fella had a stroke, and this is helping him. His arm knows it wants to move. Those signals are firing. They're just too weak to create a functional movement. So the brace enhances that and enables him to reach and grasp so that he can functionally use his arm. FES for foot drop. I'm sorry, this slide is got the wrong title on it, but the MyoPro myoelectric prosthesis is a company that we team with to bring their device to our clinic and have a demo day. So if you have anyone who wants to try it, our next demo day for electric prosthesis is July 21st. If you want to try it before then, just contact me and I can put you in contact with the company and we can make arrangements for you to get a trial even sooner. But they will be at our clinic and you can try it July 21st. And then the really good news about myoelectric prosthesis and electroskeletons is that as of April 1st, 2024, Centers for Medicaid and Medicare gave a code for that. So that's a huge step toward getting these devices paid for by your insurance. Other devices that are designed for function include the NanoMan robotic glove. And so its design is to be able to let you grasp and hold things. The Sable Flex dynamic hand splint. It's got little springs on it. Usually when you have a stroke, you can close your hand, but opening it is the hard part. So this is a device that has little springs to help you open your hand. If you want to try that, we've got one of those in our clinic. You can just call and we'll set you up to try it. Amazon sells the rehab robotic gloves. They do. I don't have one of these, but it doesn't give a very good description on Amazon. Just looking at it, I'm assuming that it's using pneumatic to help you open your hand. And I haven't actually had anybody try this. Has anybody out there tried this? And let's see, I'm not technically adept. If you've written in the chat that you have, Stephanie, can you see if anybody has tried it?
I'm looking, I don't see.
Okay. Well, if anybody ever tries it, I'd love to hear feedback on what you think of it.
Michael Gilligan says I have.
Okay, did it work?
And Anita.
Okay. Okay, well, I put my email in the chat and I'll put it up again at the end. I'd love to hear people's feedback on any of these pieces of equipment. If you tried any of this stuff, I would love to hear your feedback on what you think of it.
Erica Jewett and Anita Chapman and Michael Gillian.
Okay.
And Trudy.
I would like to try it.
Okay. Like I said, I'll put my email up in the chat box at the end, and I'd love to hear people's feedback. And then if you want to try any of this stuff, if you shoot me an email, I'll try to get you connected to what way to try it. Okay, so those devices were kind of designed to help you function, right? To be able to open and close your hand so that you can actually use your hand or use your leg. Then there's some devices that are designed to help you make neurological changes in your brain to gain function. And so these devices usually, again, detect efforts that you're making to move, and they enhance that to improve your recovery, but it's not necessarily going to help you functionally grasp or walk. So eSTEM, functional eSTEM is, there's lots of devices with this. Functional eSTEM is, it detects it gives you a little electrical, it's got little pads on it. You can see the pads on the lady's leg. And then there's electrical impulses that actually trigger your muscle to contract. And it helps to enhance your strength, and it helps to manage spasticity, and it helps to keep your muscles strong so that as you're recovering, your muscles aren't going to waste away while you're trying to get recovery. The newest thing with functional eSTEM is eSTEM with EMG. And so this device has, again, pads that detect your muscles' efforts to move, and then they enhance it. As soon as they detect your muscles are trying to move, it gives you a little shot of eSTEM, so that makes your muscle contract even more, and it reinforces that signal from your brain to your muscles and that feedback loop, so that that loop gets stronger, and you will need the eSTEM less and less as your muscles can do that contraction on their own more and more. eSTEM's teamed with bikes. So this person's got eSTEM, little electric pads on her leg, and the pads fire in sync so that her legs can actually move and turn the pedals. And so the benefit of this is when you're visually can see your limbs moving, that is another way that reinforces that pattern in your brain and gives a better laydown for that pathway. Um, there's FES for foot drop. Foot drop happens when the muscles in your legs aren't strong enough to lift your toes for your heel strike. And so there have been devices out for quite a while. The newest one is the Psionic Neural Sleeve, and this has embedded EMG detection and AI in it so that it can detect your muscles' efforts to move. It can give you that little shot of e-stim to help your foot lift even higher. And it even gives the latest version of this even stimulates your sensory receptors so that you can get a better idea of where your foot is as you're walking. And so our next demo day for the Psionic Neural Sleeve is June 9th, 2026. I got another typo on my slide, sorry. This group is out of Florida and they're harder to get a demo with. So if you want to try it, put June 6th, June 9th on your calendar and see if you can't try it while they're in Huntsville here. Bioness L300 has been around for quite a while. It's a really great FES unit, and it is similar to the Psionic sleeve. It has a lower leg and an upper leg component, and our next demo day with them is April 8th, 2026. WalkAid's been around. WalkAid was one of the first ones, I think, and it's not as fancy as Bioness and Psionic sleeve, but sometimes plain's good, plain works for some people. So that, and it's a whole lot less expensive than the other ones too. Bioness also has a handpiece to be able to open and close your hand. And then another new technology that's getting a lot of buzz is vagal nerve stimulation. So your vagus nerve is your 10th cranial nerve, and it regulates your involuntary functions like your heart rate, your digestion, your breathing, and stimulating your vagus nerve has been linked to improving hand function when it's paired with rehabilitation exercises. So the thought process is if you're stimulating your vagus nerve while you're trying to move your hand, it's going to create a better laydown and a better pathway to your brain than trying to move your hand without the vagus nerve stimulation. And so it's been FDA approved for people with chronic stroke. And Therapy Achievements is one of the centers that has trained to provide therapy. Vivistim is a device that's implanted. It's kind of like deep brain stimulation for Parkinson's, only now this is for stroke. So they take this little, it's like a pacemaker, just like the pacemaker for deep brain or just like the pacemaker for your cardiac function. They implant that under your skin and they have little wires that go from the device to your vagus nerve to stimulate it. And then and studies have shown that you can get some better stroke recovery for chronic stroke with Vivistim. So again, if you want more information on that and you're interested in maybe going about getting that, there, I think Chattanooga's training, they've got neurosurgeons in Chattanooga training to do that. There's neurosurgeons in Atlanta, and I can help you connect to the people that you need to if you're interested in that.
I just had that surgery
Oh,
about a month ago.
okay.
I had the device turned on about 10 days ago, and I have already seen small improvements in
Oh,
my right
good.
hand in just 10 days, and I'm
Wow.
almost 5 years removed from my stroke. So I can attest that that therapy is useful.
Oh, that is really neat. Where did you go to get your surgery?
I live in Asheville, North Carolina. My surgery was in Raleigh, like 4 hours away, but
Okay. And then part of having that surgery is you have to agree to go to rehab, right?
yes, yes. There is a therapist here in Western North Carolina, so I don't have to go all the way to Raleigh. But
Oh, good.
yeah. So once the device is implanted, the protocol is to activate the device yourself at least 2 times a day. And then therapy, the protocol is work with an occupational therapist 3 times a week for an hour and a half each session
Yeah.
for 12 weeks.
Okay. Good.
So it is a time investment. It's a lot of therapy.
Yeah.
Um, but that's the point. And then once you have 12 weeks of therapy, you have control over your device to be able to continue forever.
Wow. That is so cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Um, Okay, another new device out there is ARC-EX for spinal cord injury, and this is targeted to people with spinal cord injury currently. It's FDA approved for spinal cord, but just like all of this new technology, off-label use can help other people as well. Vivastim was the FDA targeted chronic stroke, but people with other neurological disorders can benefit from Vivastim. Same with ARC-EX. It's FDA approved for cervical spinal cord injury, but it stimulates the spinal cord directly, and that's how it's different from some of the other FES devices out there. The electrodes are placed on your cervical spine, and so the impulse is going directly to the spinal cord. And for people with spinal cord injury, what it is doing is it's kind of creating a bridge from the signal coming down from your brain, down your spinal cord, hits that lesion. ARC-EX makes a bridge to jump that lesion and continues that signal that's coming from your brain down your spinal cord, so that you can potentially regain movement and sensation below your level of injury. And just as Kyle testified that Vivastim is just in the first 10 days that he's used it, he can tell little changes. ARC-EX is something that we've acquired, and our patients report the same thing. Sometimes, actually, one of our patients, after one use, he was able to gain a skill that he'd been working on for a while, and he retained it. So that was the selling point for him. That's a case specific thing. That's no guarantee that that's going to happen for everybody, but just anecdotal story about how it's helped some people. So that's really exciting technology available. A lot of this was funded through the Christopher Reeves Spinal Cord Injury Foundation. And I'm going to date myself. I remember when Christopher Reeves attained his spinal cord injury, and how hard he and his wife worked on trying to set up their foundation, and how he adamantly believed that there was a cure for paralysis. And it's so exciting to see his dream really coming to fruition here. Okay, Newbie is another eSTEM device, and Newbie uses DC current to foster tissue healing and neuromuscular re-education. We've known for quite a while that DC current is more effective than AC current, But the problem with DC current is that it burns your tissues. And so back in the 60s, I think, the Russians used to make their athletes use DC current to make them stronger, and burns be damned, didn't matter. But fortunately now, Newbie has figured out a way to harness DC current to stimulate your tissues without creating the burn. And there have been some really amazing results with Newbie technology. So those are some of the technologies that are designed not necessarily for a functional purpose, but to facilitate neuro rehab return. And then the next group I want to talk about, the last group I want to talk about, is interactive technologies. So these are technologies that are designed to interact with you, like a cause effect, and it gives you feedback to how you're doing so you can adjust your performance based on the feedback. So one device is for swallowing. Synchrony Dysphagia Solutions is really cool. It is a electrodes that are placed on your throat. It gives you a bar graph so you can see how strong your swallow is. It can give you a little e-stim to make your swallow even stronger if it's not strong enough to create a functional contraction. It also taps into the neuroplasticity principle of salience matters. It's got games that you can play by swallowing. So if anyone's ever tried to do swallowing exercises, they have got to be the most boring ones out there. They are really hard to do repetitively. And so being able to play a game with swallowing is like huge. It makes it so much easier to be able to do your swallowing therapy if you can have a little bit of fun with it. Other devices are the Modus Nova. It's got a foot piece and a hand piece. The foot piece is designed to improve ankle flexion, dorsiflexion, and plantar flexion. And then the wrist piece is designed to increase wrist flexion and extension. And so they've got little sensors that detect when you're making the correct movement. It gives you a little e-stim to boost that movement. But the key with this one is that it's interactive. It's got games that you can play by using your wrist movement, and so you can get feedback. As you move harder, you get feedback saying, "Ooh, that was a better contraction," and can improve your hand function and foot function that way. Our next demo days for the Modus devices are April 7th. And then there's the Flint Music Glove. You have a glove that allows you to play music by moving your fingers. So again, the feedback is the more you move, the louder the sound is, and the more you move correctly, the more correct your musical tune is. So that's a really fun way to get feedback on how your function is, how you're functioning. NeuroPhoenix NeuroBall is another device. I like this one because you can play games with this even if you have just a little bit of movement. And the other thing I like about this is that you can program this ball to detect what movement you're trying to target. So like, for example, if I want to play a game and I want pronation, supination to be the movement that triggers the game, I can program the ball to do that. If I want wrist flexion extension to be the movement that triggers the gamer, that I can program it to do that. I can program it to do shoulder. If I want shoulder flexion extension to be the movement that triggers, I can program it for that. Flip side of that is because it's very programmable, very flexible, it's a little harder to set up. It's a little easier for things to go wrong, but a tool that I personally like quite a bit in neuro rehab. We also have BioNess Bits, and it's a touchscreen device, and it's got all kinds of things you can do with it. It's called a complete balance system because it's got the balance board that you can stand on, gives you feedback on where your center of gravity is, and then it gives you exercises that challenge your center of gravity, gives you you have a little device that you wear on a belt so that you can see where your center of gravity is. And then your goal is to keep your center of gravity on the target as the board moves around. it also has visual tracking, and it's got it's got dual tasking where you're trying to think about doing one thing and then another, like connecting the ABCs in order, then alternating ABCs with numbers in order. And so you can do each component by itself. You can do the visual tracking exercise by itself. You can do the cognitive task by itself. You can do the balance board by itself. And the really cool thing is then you can put it all together and do all components. You're tracking while you're dual tasking, while you're maintaining your center of gravity. And the thing I like about that is that's when falls happen. It's not when you're concentrating on walking, it's when you're thinking about something else, reaching for something else, doing that dual tasking, tracking while you're trying to keep your center of gravity. So this device allows you to put all three of those components together to help improve your balance. IPSY Hand is another device. Today's our demo day for IPSY Hand. It is so cool. It's got this headpiece that detects brain activity, translates it into a handpiece that then allows you to open and close your hand using just your thoughts. So if you have very little to no movement in your hand, this is a device that can help reinforce that neural connection from your brain to opening and closing your hand by using just your thoughts. Super cool. Then there's virtual reality therapy. This allows people to see animated versions of their environment in their glasses. So in the picture, she's got her goggles on. She sees a scene in her glasses of like shopping. And so she's moving through the grocery store in her glasses and having to reach and pick up fruit and put it in her bag. Is another way that you can reinforce that neuroconnectivity. And so those are just some of the new things that are out there, and that is so exciting to me because back in the days when we told people, so sorry, that's it, that's all you're going to get. Now we can say you have hope. If we can just figure out how to stimulate your brain the right way, there's hope that your brain can reorganize itself and you can make gains despite how long it's been, despite how bad it was, there's still hope.
Wow, this is great. We had 3 hands. I know we're kind of out of time.
I'm sorry I took so long.
But would you have time to answer a couple of questions?
Oh yeah, I've got all kinds of time. I can go over. I know some of you can't,
Okay.
but I'd be happy
Okay.
to stay over.
Okay, real quick, Carrie, Amanda, then Marge.
Okay, so my questions are kind of multifaceted. So first of all, how do you know which device you should try? And how do you know if it works for or will work for you? And if you don't live in Alabama, can you try them out in other states?
Yes. So the first part of that's a super good question. So the first part is, which device should I try? I would highly recommend working with a therapist who's familiar with all of these things, because that can save you a ton of time in knowing which device. They can see what skills you have, what skills you are wanting to enhance, and they can help team you with the right device. And I also highly agree that you should try it before you buy it. That's part of why we partner with these companies to bring the device into the clinic so people can actually try it and have a good understanding, to Kyle's point, of how much effort am I going to have to put into this, and help you have a better understanding of this. Some of these devices are still fairly pricey, and there's so many options out there. I can't buy everything, which is the one that's going to be best for me. And then as far as can I try it outside of Alabama? Most of these vendors have a way that you can contact them directly and will work with you personally on trying to set up an appointment to try it and see if it's appropriate for you. They will also work with you on figuring out if your insurance will pay for a portion or all of it.
Okay, that was going to be another question, is if insurance would cover any of it.
Insurance is the big it depends question. Sadly, insurance keeps
Huge
getting,
hurdle.
oh yeah, more and more complicated. They keep coming up with more and more ways not to pay you. And
Mhm.
so it depends on your insurance, it depends on your diagnosis, it depends on quite a few factors.
Okay.
Good
So
question.
your best suggestion then for trying these is to reach out to the companies directly?
You can do that, or you can shoot me an email and I can give you the contact for the companies and connect you. I can do an intro email, say, you know, this is Karen from Alabama. She wants to try this unit. Can you reach out to her?
Okay.
Okay.
And how do you find a therapist in your state? I don't believe that we have anybody near me that even works with this kind of thing.
I usually do a Google search. I do know neuro rehab, physical therapy, or neuro rehab near me.
And there
And
is nobody. I've done that.
okay. Um, well, let's see. If you send me an email and we can talk about where you're located and maybe figure out uh, options for you.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Amanda, great question, Karen.
Thank you.
Hi. Hi. Thank you so much for your time. And I love this presentation. Very
Oh,
helpful,
good.
right up my alley, Karen.
Agreed.
Yeah. I do see a physical therapist, and I actually am currently using the Bioness L300.
Okay.
And it's amazing. Definitely kicks up on the things that I need because my knee it currently hyperextends because I can't bend my knee. So it wakes it up. And it's funny how after I use it when I'm walking to go home, using my cane, it actually helps me bend it. Like it helps me
Yeah.
my knee bend. So, but the
Yeah.
problem is it's like $10,000 and
Right.
um I haven't checked with my insurance or anything. So, that's something he says most insurance probably don't accept it except for like Medicaid or Medicare. Um, so yeah, I'm definitely interested in mentioning some of these other ones, but I just wanted to state that the Bioness L300 is great. I love it, but it
It
probably won't be
is.
covered. Um,
That's part of the challenge with this all this great equipment is then I feel bad, like it's kind of like a tease, right? Oh, if you had money,
yeah,
you could have this great device, but oh, too bad, your insurance doesn't cover
right.
it. And
Uh-huh.
so that's the really downside of all of this. I just have hope that they keep doing more and more research and they keep showing more and more how this really does help improve people's function and so I really do have hope that as time goes on, more and more insurances will cover this stuff. Because if you think about it, it's way less expensive to buy a Bioness unit for you so that you
Hmm.
can do this at home than for you to come to therapy for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. And then I wanted to touch on the other point about use it or lose it. Definitely don't. And I kind of did this when I went to physical therapy first. Um, it's important to go home and do the stuff on your own. Um, there was a time when I kind of just went home and had my depression, and I should have went home and did the exercises, and I think that would have helped with my depression. So it's very important to follow through and practice and practice and practice and do those exercises and things that they use. But a lot of the equipment that they use, I wish that they would have that equipment for us to use at home. That's the problem.
Right.
And again, a lot of it is expensive. So that's why I continue to keep going back every year. And a lot of the times, a lot of the places I go to, I went to Ohio Health. I'm from Columbus and Ohio. And they said, we've taught you everything you know. You don't necessarily have to come back unless you really want to. And that kind of made me feel like we don't want you to come back. So then I went to another network, which is Ohio State, Ohio State University. I'm going to them and Ohio Wexner Center. Um, and so it's a new network, and they're kind of this. They told me I know everything, but they can refresh me and tune up. I could tune up on a lot of stuff. So I'm only getting 20 sessions. So it's like, but if I want to continue to improve and learn from you guys, I think I should be able to go. You know what I mean? If I'm going to still pay
Yeah.
for it and my insurance is going to pay for it, why are you going to turn me away? You know what I mean? I
And
just don't
part of that
understand.
is insurance.
Mhm,
Insurance will not pay for sessions that aren't medically necessary. And so that's
mhm,
our challenge as therapists is to document that this is a medically necessary service and this isn't something that you could do at home on your own. So that's our
mhm,
challenge always.
mhm,
But you touched on a couple other points that I think are really good. Um, Early on, especially, many people are overwhelmed. This it's just you're just trying to comprehend what happened to you, and just emotionally and psychologically, you just are can't. Uh, you're just trying to survive. You're still in survival mode. So I would
yeah,
really encourage everybody to get all the support they can. If you need counseling, during that period of time so that when you are overwhelmed and trying to figure out, oh my gosh, my life is never going to be the same. What am I going to do? That you get as much support from your family and your friends and the counseling community that you can to kind of get you through that spot so that you can
mhm,
function. And
right,
To your point, then the more that you can function, it's like a snowball. The more you function, the better you feel. The more you can function, the better you can feel.
Right.
It keeps growing that way.
mhm,
Um,
mhm,
so I think that's really important. And then your other point was that tune-ups. So we are challenged to show that this is medically necessary, but tune-ups are always important. We believe in that at Therapy Achievements. We come back. Let's see where you're at. We'll challenge you, take you to that next level, give you a home program that's just that little bit more challenging. See what news come out since you were here last. Is there anything we can add to your program?
well, actually, this new place has taught me so much new stuff that I never even was taught at the other place. So it's like trying a different places, they all have different things that they teach. So
Right.
to me, I think it's important to share. If you go to one network or one place, you might want to check out another place because they all do
Exactly.
different things.
Yeah.
Um,
Each therapist has different experience, different training levels. And
mhm,
so, yes, uh, PT is not the same in every clinic for
mhm,
sure.
yep, yep.
And we're
I'm
seriously
done.
out of time.
Thank you. Sorry.
Um,
Sorry.
I want to get you're good, you're good. And remember, you guys can also email her as well. Real quick, Marge, and then Annie will, and then we've got to
Yeah.
definitely set it off
Where
because
is
I have another
where
meeting to
is the
go
Yeah.
to.
email? What is the email?
My email is Karen, Karen, at therapy, THERAPY dash A.com.
Okay, thank you. Because I'm interested in this for autonomic disorders and chronic inflammation and some brain problems.
Okay. Okay, great.
Okay.
My question is pretty quick. I recently heard about PEMF therapy or electromagnetic something. Anyway,
Yes.
I'm wondering if it's a thing or if it sounds too good to be true or
In general, magnetic therapy has not had lots of evidence-based practice in the past. I have not kept up to date with the latest developments in magnetic therapy, and it may be that they've refined that and there's better efficacy for it now, but that's a great question. I'm going to check into that.
Great, thank you.
Okay. I know she's got so much information to share with you guys, and I wish we had enough time to get the more, questions out, but unfortunately, we've got to wrap it up. And I'm so glad that you guys enjoy the speakers and the information that they bring to you guys. I'm so happy that you can apply it to your life. And so this just lets me know that I think we've had a great time with her today. Karen, thank you so much for joining our session today and giving us information that resonated with our coffee club members or coffee club friends. These are my friends. Thank you so much. Guys, give her a big hand, some hearts, some love. This was really, really, really good. Good information, very informative, very educational. I think I learned something about it. I learned a lot today, and I didn't know about all the different assistive technology equipment. So, you educated me as well. So thank you so much for joining us today. I know you're going to be coming back and in a couple of months for another topic. So, but thank you so much for joining us today. You were really, really great. Guys, I did record this, so I will be sending out the recording so you can go back and take a look at it and watch at your own convenience. So hopefully you
Well,
guys
thank
will
you so
join.
much. I really appreciate you letting me share with you today. And
Yes.
I look forward to hearing from everybody, all their feedback on their experiences with all this new technology.
Yes, you guys have our email. So yeah, this is I call them my coffee club friends. I feel like this is my little family. The
Yes.
club family. So yes, I hope you enjoyed them today. We had about 70, well, some have gone off. We had about 75 people on today. Guys, I hope you will come back and join me for our next session. And please remember this. It is not going to be an early morning. The next session is going to be on April the 7th. It's going to be a midday coffee club session. And the reason it's going to be midday because Dr. Bauman, he could only come at noon. So I hope you will make some time in the noon session to join us on April the 7th, like I stated, 12 noon with Dr. Chris Bauman for an exciting and inspiring presentation on how music stimulates the brain and enhances performance. Dr. Bauman's he views music as medicine, and his research shows how powerful it can be. So please come back and join me on that day. I hope it's not a big inconvenience for you. So also, if you are on here for your first time and somebody maybe told you about Coffee Club, but you do not know about NCHPAD Connect. And NCHPAD stands for the National Center on Health, Physical Activity, and Disability. And so, but we would like for you to also take advantage of all of our free virtual health and wellness programs here. And to learn more about that, you can check us out on the website www.ncpad.org/NCPAD-connect/ again, so you can take advantage of all of our free programs like Mentor, Growth. And if you need some information on simple things like, hey, is there a wellness gym in a certain state? We have an inclusion specialist who will be more than happy to help you and answer those questions. And if you would like to call us, you can give us a call at 866 866 8896, and you can speak with someone in the call center department. Again, I hope you guys will join me, and also you can email me at ncpadconnect@uab.edu. Guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you on April the 7th. Take care, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Everyone.
Thanks again. Have a good week.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
everyone. Have
you.
a good
You.
day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. So much
Bye,
great information
everybody.
here and so good. Thank you.